He wants to march the trail of flattened ryegrass back to the house of muttering hens. He too could make a bed in hay. Yesterday, the egg so fresh it felt hot in his hand, and he pressed it to his ear while the other children laughed and ran with the ball, leaving him, so little yet, too forgetful in games, ready to cry if the ball brushed him, riveted to the secret of birds caught up inside his fist, not ready to give it over to the refrigerator or the rest of the day. A man crosses the street in rain, stepping gently, looking 2 times north and south, because his son is asleep on his shoulder. No car must splash him. No car drive too near to his shadow. This man carries the world's most sensitive cargo, but he's not marked. Nowhere does his jacket say, "Fragile, handle with care." His ear fills up with breathing. He hears the hum of a boy's dream deep inside him. We're not going to be able to live in this world if we're not willing to do what he's doing with one another. The road will only be wide. The rain will never stop falling. There's no talking in this movie. It's not a movie. Just watch the dancers. They tell the story through their dancing. Why is the Nutcracker mean? I think because the little boy broke him. Did the little boy mean to? Probably not. Why did the Nutcracker stab his sword through the Mouse King? I liked the Mouse King. So did I. I don't know. I wish that wasn't in it. You can see that girl's underpants. It's not underpants. It's a costume called a tutu. That's the same word as grandma in Hawaiian. Are those really gems on their costumes? Do they get to keep them? Is that really snow coming down? No, it can't be. It would melt and their feet get wet. I think it's white paper. Aren't they beautiful? They are very beautiful. But what do the dancers do when we can't see them? When they're off the stage and they're not dancing? Do you have any more pistachios in your purse? Well, obviously, wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. "Help," said the flight agent. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. "Shu dawa, shu bidlik habibti, stand shway, min fadlik, shu bitsawi." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment the next day. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there. Just late. Who's picking you up? Let's call him." We called her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and ride next to her, southwest. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamoul cookies, little powdered sugar, crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo. We were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out fee beverages from huge coolers, and two little girls from our flight ran around serving apple juice, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country traveling tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones and thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. I'm sorry, that last line is, not everything is lost. And now I'm so happy to welcome Chana Bloch.
The sky blue-violet that evening until 10 p.m. So we drove to a lake in the park and rented a rowboat. There was an island in the middle of the lake, overgrown with willows and moss. Our older son took the oars and rowed us toward the island. The little one sat in the prow and announced, "Hey, I'll be the reporter of swan and duck news." Sometimes a wave of happiness wells up and wipes everything clean. The water cannot contain itself. The old angers soften and sink down to the sludgy bottom. I laughed when that wave came and lifted the boat from the water. The last time the doctors gave up, I put the pieces together and bought him a blue wool jacket, a shirt, and a tie with scribbles of magenta, brown buckle shoes. I dressed him and sat him down with a hanky in his pocket, folded into points. Then a shell knit slowly over his sad, starched heart. He'd laugh and dangle his long legs and call out, "What a fall that was!" And I'd sing the refrain, "What a fall." And now he's at my door again, begging in that leaky voice, and I start wiping the smear from his broken face. When I was the Baba Yaga of the house on my terrible chicken legs, the children sat close on the sofa as I read, both of them together, determined to be scared. "Careful," I cackled, stalking them among the pillows. "You bad Russian boy, I eat you up." They shivered and squirmed, my delicious sons, waiting for a mighty arm to seize them. I chased them screeching down the hall. "I catch you, I eat you!" My witch blade hungry for the spurt of laughter. What stopped me even as I lifted my hand? The stricken voice that cried, "Eat him! Eat my brother!" flash across the horizon, tourists trying to take the canyon by night. They don't know every last shot will turn out black. It takes 60 years for Rothko to make his way to the rim. He goes there only after dark. As he stands at the railing, his pupils open like a camera shutter at the slowest speed. He has to be patient. He has to lean far over the railing to see the colors of darkness. Purple, numb brown, mud gold, mauve, a treasury of bruises. At first, he can see only black on black. Something you don't want to look at, he says. As he waits, the waves of color vibrate in the canyon like voices. Pilgrim, bring back something from the brink of nothing to make us see. He has only his open hand and his sweetly accusatory, bless you. We have only to turn our heads, and he's gone. Who says we have to offer a cloak to every shivering soul on Solano? A nip of remorse is almost its own reward. Inside, in the caustic light, a push broom relocates the dust of day. The checker scans us with a sleepwalker's blinkered gaze. There's a raw wind blowing, but you and I will be home in no time to naked comforts. We'll fall asleep to the murmur of the fridge. We walk out with summer, bagged and paid for. Strawberries piled in plastic coffers, raspberries, blueberries, shade-grown Jamaican coffee, not forgetting sunflower seeds for our little sisters, the sparrows, who are always hungry, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.